Hello and welcome to my talk for today. As you can see, I'm back in the basement today. It's an exciting life I lead, isn't it? When I worked in the Diocese of Chelmsford back in England, I was asked to lead a group in the diocese around a publication called Faith in the Countryside. It looked at issues of concern for the church in rural areas and came to the conclusion that in many villages the challenges were very much the same as those faced in downtown areas, except on a smaller scale. The report lived in the shadow of another report called Faith in the City and received much less attention and funding. Having spent nearly all my ministry in New Brunswick in uptown St. John, I left behind a good deal of the knowledge I had about rural ministry from the days when I served in two country parishes back in England. It was only on becoming bishop that I began to appreciate once again that rural poverty and disadvantage are issues in New Brunswick. This was brought home to me through a conversation I had in a parish in the early days of my time as bishop. I was sitting across the table from a teacher, and as I often do when I meet teachers, I asked, what are the issues in this community? You see, schools are one of the places where the pulse of a community is known. The problems and the joys come across the desk of most teachers. And the same problems which faced places like uptown St. John were listed by that teacher from a very rural school. The two major differences were they're more widely spread and the resources to help with them are fewer than in the urban regions. During the last few days, the issue of rural homelessness has been brought to my attention. I am told that there are up to 20 men without permanent overnight accommodation in a large rural part of our province. Some of this has come about because of the lack of employment due to COVID-19. This is particularly the case for some seasonal workers, and there are also others for whom it is a more long-term and systemic problem. Usually homelessness is only the tip of the iceberg with issues that come out of poverty and disadvantage. I'm aware also that schools have been closed since March, and some of the usual food programs have been suspended or curtailed. Such problems can be made worse during the summer, even when schools have been in all throughout the spring because of the long vacation. But this year, the difficulties may be even greater. What I'm suggesting is that during these summer days especially, as we are still in the midst of the pandemic, there is a need to be aware of these matters in our communities. In addition, it may be that in rural regions, we as the church need to think about how we work with other groups to help the systemic issues of disadvantage. Once again, thank you for being here today. I trust that you're having a good day. Over the weekend, I'm sure that many of us will be involved in acts of worship, both virtual and live, so I trust those will be a blessing to you. But for now, God bless and stay safe.